roll to green, and at the Grand Prix of Long Beach, we are now racing. Kyle Kirkwood leading his teammate down the straight and down towards turn one. High speed and heavy braking as they open up and try to make that move immediately.
Kyle Kirkwood with the advantage, but further back they are 3 wide. Looked like Marcus Ericsson jamming his way in there. Alexander Rossi with a really nice move in that light blue and yellow Splenda car.
That's a huge jump from Rossi driving for ECR. You see a pair of McLarens, a trio of McLarens all lined up there, single file, a little bit of a defensive move there, but so far no incident.
Kyle Kirkwood doing exactly what he needed to do off the line there. No incidents between himself and his teammate, he said, as Newgarden has a look up the inside of Dixon, gets that done with a lovely instinctive move on the opening lap.
Scott Dixon was looking pretty defensive on that straightaway. Now he gets challenged again, or is challenging again to the outside as
Rasmussen made a move on the inside of Kiffin Simpson. Big dive as we see now Newgarden trying to defend against Dixon. He's on those harder tires, not able to mount the attack.
a lot of desperation early on if you're 10th or farther back, especially for drivers like Dixon and Newgarden, used to the sharp end of this grid. They know they have to make positions early. Newgarden said that was the goal. Make passes, be aggressive. There's only one option. Meanwhile, two young American drivers looking to become two-time winners here at Long Beach.
As Alexander Rossi defends from Marcus Ericsson, former teammates.
If Rossi, I'm trying to figure out if he was trying to defend from Ericsson or if he was trying to attack Palou. This guy has the bit between his teeth, was confident coming into the weekend, guys, but then after practice one, it was all sorts of sideways. The car was not there, the grip was not there. They threw the kitchen sink at it for qualifying, and it seems to be working.
Alexander Rossi, of course, has won here twice before, but a big salary payment in the offseason to bring him into this team, Ed Carpenter Racing, to deliver these sort of quarterback-like performances, leading his organization forward methodically. I talked with his father this morning about exactly that, how they just want to keep taking one step at a time and growing the program with Alexander's leadership. He's doing it today.
David Malukas in the AJ Foyt entry, the number 4 car, having a good look at the back of Marcus Armstrong in the Meyer Shank. And when we talk about Meyer Shank, Felix Rosenquist sitting P3 at the moment, has taken that position over from Alex Palou, who's dropped 2 positions from the start. Your championship leader, Rosenquist, of course, on the pole here last year.
And for all these drivers, James, that have started on the soft tire, you are settling into tire conversation. But not Josef Newgarden. He is not conserving anything. He is dropping those softs immediately and going right to the hard tire. Going to try to make it now on 2 more stops.
You have to do at least 2 laps on each compounded tire. They got through the 2 laps on the softs with Josef Newgarden. They came immediately in. That's a bold strategy call. But from 15th place, Townsend, I like it. Let's roll the dice. If you do the same as the rest of the cars, you're not going anywhere, but you might make a couple spots up. That could be a race-winning move when we get down 50, 60 laps in.
And who's the fastest man on track right now, guys? It's Josef Newgarden, a 1:09.0. That's a 1.5 seconds faster than your race leader, Kyle Kirkwood.
That tells you they're already starting
there we go.
to fall off. That's Malukas, just we saw diving into pit lane there. And Hurt is in as well.
To get those 1.5 turns out if possible.
Trying to take 1.5 turns of front wing out of the car. We see Scott McLaughlin on the Dex imaging machine. He is in and out. Josef Newgarden has set a trend, doing it from 15th. These are the guys up at the front making this move. How does Kirkwood react? How does Rosenquist?
Oh, very close. Herter and McLaughlin side by side, and it's a long stretch down that funnels on the way out.
McLaughlin was ahead, but because it's a curved pit lane, I think Colton was driving a shorter distance. Advantage Herta at the exit.
Careful here, though. It's so easy to lock up on full tanks and cold, hard tires at the end of the straight. This is going to be a battle on this L lap to see who can capitalize. Tires are cold, car is heavy.
It's a great point. The first few corners are literally like driving in the rain. It's that slippery. Heavy cars, low grip.
And guys, right behind him on the racetrack,
yep.
Josef Newgarden.
Yep.
He is already caught up with the drivers that were running in the top 5.
And the one thing the drivers were telling us earlier this weekend, this harder tire takes longer to bring it in. Newgarden's tires will already be up to temperature. He'll have the pace as he goes for the move. Immediately up and through. A wonderful move from Scott McLaughlin to take that position away from Colton Herta, as now Newgarden will be catching them both. Palou in.
Look at Newgarden, there he is. Colton Herta under pressure big time from Team Penske. They are attacking at just the right time. You called it, Hinch. Newgarden
your way down.
brilliantly making the early stop work.
And Herta sideways trying to get the power down out of turn 11, down the long stretch into turn 1. Can he make the move? Can he do what his teammate Scott McLaughlin did just a few corners ago, as now everyone barreling out of pit lane? And these guys with their tires up to temperature, right into the middle of it.
McLaughlin's going to get massively held up here by Ericsson as he gets up to speed. Little touch there. Newgarden into the back of Herta. Now McLaughlin down the inside. Teammates side by side into 5. This is not a good passing spot.
Oh, Ericsson locks up again. Newgarden now almost spins out, trying to get to the throttle early.
This the difference between tires that are cold, tires that are up to temperature, as Newgarden knows he has to find his way through and does it perfectly, instinctively, and straight away.
This is absolute madness and chaos.
Looks like Gordon Ramsay out there with all the hatchet jobs going on. They are chopping each other everywhere, and look who is in pit lane. Kyle Kirkwood, race leader.
So Armstrong takes over at the head of the field. Lundgaard, who started on the hard tire, currently sits P2. But where will Kirkwood come out? How much time has he lost? And where does it put him amongst all of these drivers who now do have their tires up to temperature and will be able to fight to take that advantage immediately and instinctively? We wait for them to head down Shoreline Drive.
And there goes Colton Herta. Here comes Rossi blending back out just next to Newgarden.
So Kirkwood managed to make it stick. All this fighting back and forth held these guys up. Rossi now at the front of this train. So we see Car going a little, that's coming out of pit lane. That's Rinus VeeKay. But look at that train behind the 20 of Rossi. He's got a lineup of cars with push to pass, trigger fingers, and warm tires. Here comes now that power down the inside.
Power inside of O'Ward.
Rahal up and having a look at Malukas. Can't get it done on David Malukas. But the battle right now for the de facto lead is that of Kirkwood as Ericsson has a look at Rossi. They get very close and almost touch. The question is, how much longer will these tires hold on for? The first driver who started on the hard tires to pit off those hard tires, Robert Schwartzman, means that only 5 drivers who started on those tires. In fact, it's only 4 now because Kirkwood is up to 5th. Just the top 4 remain who started on the hard tire. How much longer can Lundgaard hang on?
Let's ride and watch. That'll tell us everything. It's all about feel. He's got fuel to burn for a few more laps, but the balance still looks pretty good as I watch him lean into the power pretty heavily. James, what do you see?
I mean, the car looks good. The lap times look good. I mean, a 1:08.8 on that last lap. He was 0.3 quicker than Dixon and 0.2 quicker than Kirkwood, so he's still getting the pace out of it.
But he is using push to pass on these laps, and he's not trying to pass anybody. He's just trying to lap faster because he's probably coming to pit lane soon. I just don't, well, it's going to be a 3-stopper for him, so he might as well come now because he's catching traffic. Yep. Indeed he does.
So he'll come in, refuel on Shell 100% renewable fuel there in the number 7 Arrow McLaren. Our onboard courtesy of Mission today has led 20 of the 27 laps thus far held. Scott Dixon takes over the lead of the race. How much longer can Scott Dixon go? Won this race last year on a crazy strategy. So much fuel saving for him, and Kevin.
And Dixon will come in the next lap. He was told, let's go. He's going to try to make up as much time and use the overcut by staying out a lap later. And for Christian Lundgaard, he's going to the softs this time. How long can he make them last?
Fascinating stuff. So full of fuel and on the soft tire, we ride on board with Kirkwood. Keep your eyes driver right.
Now he's well past him already. You see in the track map up in the corner, which makes sense. He was never going to come out in the lead, but remember, Lundgaard started 12th. He's going to come out behind Rosenquist there. That's in essentially P5, so a great jump through that strategy, but now he's got to suffer on the softs.
Everybody else has suffered. Everybody else has cleared the way in terms of that alternate strategy. That's Kyle Kirkwood, Palou, Rosenquist. They've dumped the softs. I don't know how many laps that Lundgaard will get. Scott Dixon now coming in for the same thing. We'll have to see where Dixon blends out relative to Lundgaard. They were battling each other.
And whether he moves on to the soft or whether he stays on the hard. Decisions that will determine the outcome of this race. Kevin.
And he's doing the same strategy as Lundgaard. He's going to get his mandatory stint with the softs, the green sidewalled Firestones on this time. And what is going to be fascinating is to watch the blend. That is a quick stop for the PNC Bank crew and the Honda of Chip Ganassi Racing. He screams down to turn 1. Who's going to have the advantage between him and Lundgaard on that strategy?
That stop looked faster, Will, than the one of Christian Lundgaard. So Lundgaard is on Shoreline Drive right now. There he is.
Dixon out. Will he get through before him? It's going to be tight, and Lundgaard just keeps the position.
But it's Scott McLaughlin that loses out here. Cold tires for Dixon, hot tires for McLaughlin as he tried into 4. No, he's losing so much time to Lundgaard in front.
Although soft, cold tires for Dixon will become hot, soft tires real fast. That's the difference with the softer compound. Look for Scott Dixon to be lightning quick and go right back onto the gearbox of Christian Lundgaard.
He's coming in the pits right now, guys. A leader of this race responding to what Chip Ganassi Racing and the 10 has done. So now it all comes down, Jack, to the pit crews and the outlaps.
Absolutely it does. I was chatting to the team. What they were hoping for happened. Alex Palou had to pit first. They're literally now doing his pit stop. No wing change. This outlap is so critical. Kevin, what's happening where you are?
Waiting to see Colton Herta. He'll be the next one up near the front, stopping from his position inside the top 6. Everyone is satisfied as Herta is in the tire requirement except for Stingray Robb. He has not run the soft green sidewalls yet. Everyone else likely done with the greens.
So Alex Palou on the front straightaway. Here comes Kyle Kirkwood. Here comes Palou. Now, it doesn't look close, but Kirkwood's on cold tires. Palou will be able to catch him very quickly over the next few corners, but Kirkwood easily with track position.
Yeah, that's a big advantage to Kyle right now. It shows you that overcut approach, going that little bit longer, that 1 lap longer, can really gain you some time, because I know he's still getting up to speed, but that's a big gap, Townsend. That's a nice move.
There was a little bobble on the pit stop for Alex Palou that we saw on one of the front tires, maybe.
Look at that. Palou already asking, are we safe with Rosenquist as well? He's doing the math. He's doing the strategy from inside the cockpit. That is such an impressive thing to see. Right now, Rosenquist running behind Palou by a good chunk.
Race those guys like Lundgaard on the other strategy.
Barry Wanzer reminding him there's other players in this race today. Christian Lundgaard's done such a great job with that alternate strategy today, running long on the hard tires. And how is his lap time? A 1:10.7.
It's not
great. That soft tire starting to come apart a little bit in terms of performance. So that's something that the McLaren team needs to be studying closely and start to think about Lundgaard's next stop.
This is it. They were running 1:09s just a few laps ago. Lundgaard down to the 1:10s, Dixon into the 1:11s. How much longer can they make those soft tires last? Here we are on board with Christian Lundgaard on those soft tires. Take a look at the wear rate on that right front.
But also, we can see the gap to Scott Dixon. He's the blue and orange car that's diving into the pits. He caught some traffic there. He lost a lot of time to Lundgaard, so advantage to the 7 on this strategy. Now Christian has to push and probably is going to come in next lap to cover Scott Dixon. And Kev, you're down there waiting the 9.
So the last time Dixon stayed out a lap later than Christian Lundgaard. This time he's going to come in at least 1 lap earlier. There's no movement in the Aero McLaren 7 pit box at this point. Let's watch the PNC Bank crew. It was quick the first time, but not as quick this time. A little bobble on the right rear, so they've lost a little bit of time on this stop.
Very slow on that right rear. Don't expect to see that from the 9 crew.
Slow on the right rear, slow on the in lap as well due to traffic. So this cycle has not really worked out super well for Dixon and the 9. You see the onboard there of Lundgaard. Let's see, does he decide to come in this time? He's entering turn 9. Dixon's going to slot out in front of Scott McLaughlin right now, who was running in 11th, but he's on those hards. They are cold. McLaughlin's going to be full attack.
Dixon with his mirrors full of Penske and right up the inside, and that's wonderful from Scott McLaughlin. Beautiful move.
Hard place to get it done. Now McLaughlin's teammate Newgarden trying to line up the 6th
Here comes
champ.
Newgarden.
See, all too easy.
Scott being smart, not defending too much. You can lose even more lap time and make yourself more susceptible to guys like Colton Herta, who's now right behind Dixon, if you go too aggressive on defense.
It was that exact situation for Scott Dixon that put him in the wall here at Long Beach with Pato O'Ward a couple years ago, and possibly lost a championship opportunity as Colton Herta goes by.
Lundgaard coming down to our man Kevin Lee.
And remember, this pit lane is challenging because it is angled. It's difficult to get the fuel squared in perfectly, and this stop needs to be really, really quick because it won't take very long to fuel. Tires are done, fuel is done, Christian Lundgaard is out. How does he compare to Dixon?
A little longer than they probably wanted there on the left rear.
Just a small hesitation, but that can mean everything. You're crawling at 45 miles an hour. It's so difficult as a driver to not lose your cool. Off the button now. There goes Palou. So that's an effective third in the race.
Wow.
He's got Rosenqvist coming, I think, hard behind him. He's going to have to fight to keep the Meyer-Shank racing machine of Rosenqvist behind. He's already now on his gearbox. This is going to be the battle for effectively third.
Rosenqvist with tires up to temperature. Will he have a look up the inside like McLaughlin did? Oh, he's close. He's really, really close on this short little run down to the left-hander. Rosenqvist chucks it up the inside, says thank you very much, and will disappear off into the distance.
What a great start to the season for this guy, Felix Rosenqvist. Excellent from the team in both qualifying and race performance. Rosenqvist starting off with a 7th, a 5th, and now, as James said, podium in sight.
This man, Kyle Kirkwood in the 27, is controlling the pace right now, Jack. What are they saying on the stand down there?
Literally, they just want to keep everything as is. They're so zoned in. Not a lot of communication, actually. I've been listening and scanning the whole time, and they're really not talking about the lot. The overcut is so powerful here. I think their strategy, they're just going to go one lap after Alex Palou.
Easier said than done. You have no idea how much Alex Palou is saving fuel behind you there. I mean, that could be part of the reason that gap isn't changing as we see Josef Newgarden coming in for his final stop. A little bit of that alternate strategy. First guy in the pits, first guy to do his last stop as well.
Might have to save a bit of fuel too. 30 laps to go to the close. That's not going to be an easy number.
But what this does is it puts Josef Newgarden in the position to danger zone the rest of the field. By that I mean if a caution came out because of a crash all of a sudden, Josef Newgarden would be in the sweet spot. Everybody else would pit under caution as Newgarden is back out, hoping to get ahead of this Prema car that's coming.
Don't know if it's going to stay that way.
He's got
side by
position.
side.
Oh, high percentage move there from Newgarden to back out with Callum Eilert in the Prema car coming through. So something interesting here on the pit stop. Look at Josef Newgarden waving frantically. There's an issue, seatbelt perhaps. Is it possible that Newgarden had a seatbelt coming loose like his teammate Will Power did at the end of last season in Nashville?
I can't see that based on how they were reaching in there. But Kev, 7's in.
Christian Lundgaard making his final stop. By the way, the last to win a race for this team, other than Pato O'Ward, is you, James Hinchcliffe.
That is true. That is true. Some years ago, Kev, but we did it here once, back in 2017. And I really like the strategy these guys did. Christian was quick all weekend long. You know, I've been really harping on how impressed I've been with his transition to McLaren. This is a car that has been a struggle for other guys to drive other than Pato O'Ward. This team's been built around him. The setup's been built around him as we see more trouble for Josef Newgarden. You might be right, Seatbelt. That might be a seatbelt issue. It's easy to do here because of the hairpin. You do such a big crossover with your hands and arms. Sometimes you can just catch the release latch.
This is bizarre. I mean, we don't hear about seatbelts coming loose, but for the same team to have that issue after Will Power had it, I am just really shocked as Felix Rosenqvist makes his final stop.
And this is key for the last step on that podium because we saw Lundgaard come in. He was trying to get that stop, get out on track, and hopefully make the time up. But as we've seen today, the overcut traditionally is the one that works. Where does Rosie come out in relation to Lundgaard? We're moments away from finding out. Lundgaard's tires will be up to temperature. Rosenqvist will have to push on regardless. And so far,
there goes Rosie. The 7 is behind him, so Lundgaard's still back there by a good chunk. You see it up there on the map, and he's now got 2 cars in between him, so just advantage to Rosenqvist.
Palou is in.
Final stop for Alex Palou up near the end of pit lane, looking for a flawless stop. These are the hard Firestones once again. One more lap, we think, for Kyle Kirkwood. Palou is away.
And Palou pushing for a third win on the bounce. To take 3 wins in a row to open the season. This is where he will push, and he pushed on his in-lap. He got that gap down to under half a second to Kyle Kirkwood. The race leader now has to put it all on the line and push with everything he's got, as Palou has to do the same.
And importantly for Palou, he has no traffic to deal with, but not the case for Kyle Kirkwood. He has now caught the back of the pack, and he is losing precious time right now. He's got to come to the box.
Got to come in. That was devastating result. He really has to hope that the team can get the job done, that maybe Palou has a bit of a bobble, but that's not exactly what we know Alex Palou to do. As Jack, he comes to you now.
Yeah, he's literally just about to hit his marks. The most important 2 laps of the entire weekend now for Kyle Kirkwood and the Andretti team are literally happening. That in-lap, this out-lap, slight hiccup there, I would say, but pretty smooth. He's going to hustle as hard as he can down to turn 1 and hopefully get out ahead of the Palou.
Slight delay getting away for Kyle Kirkwood. The gap was half a second that Kirkwood led Palou when Palou came into the pits. Keep your eyes on your race leader exiting pit lane. Keep your eye on that number 10 on the track map, and you'll see the yellow and red DHL car in vision any moment. Running down into turn 1. Who will have the lead of this race? Kirkwood exits. There's Palou.
But we've seen how long it takes these hard tires to come up to temperature. Palou now through turn 1. He's got the bit between his teeth.
Jack talked about the overcut is usually the play here because of this, because it's so narrow. Even if Palou gets to Kirkwood right here, there's really nowhere to get by. Kirkwood has to make sure he doesn't make a mistake right here, exiting turn 5. It looked good.
It's the highest pressure situation for a driver. You're leading the race. You've got almost no grip on those cold tires, but you have to push because there's a 3-time champion breathing down your neck. Kirkwood being flawless so far. Can he hold it down into turn 9?
Brilliant job through 5 corners with Kyle Kirkwood, not making a single mistake.
His mirror's full of yellow and red into the braking zone at 9. He's done a wonderful job to keep him behind at the moment, because that is not an easy thing to do. We've seen how fast and pacey and racy Alex Palou can be in these kind of scenarios. What kind of an exit has he got? Out of 11, down shoreline drive. It's Kirkwood and Palou for the lead of the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach.
Both drivers on 100% button, and look at the launch that Kirkwood got. That's a nice safe buffer heading into turn 1.
But look at the 40-second push-to-pass advantage. That's what I talked about earlier. Kyle Kirkwood sitting pretty with horsepower to burn and maintain the lead.
Yeah, he's just driving absolutely to perfection here. Great execution, hitting his marks, not getting flustered in a high-pressure situation.
Very Alex Palou-like performance from Kyle Kirkwood.
It is. He's out-Palou-ing Palou right now, and you love to see it.
How Palou you? How dare you? How dare you suggest anybody can match the master? Kyle Kirkwood absolutely doing it.
I'm sorry, it's blasphemous of me to say that. I would never do it again.
On the podium, we ride on board on the Sirius XM car of Rosenqvist, looking back at Lundgaard, and Lundgaard is coming for him. The gap has been cut right down. It's under half a second between the McLaren driver and the Meyer Shank driver ahead of him. This for the final spot on the podium.
Oh boy.
Lundgaard love to make it back-to-back podium.
Lundgaard looked really good coming out of turn 11, but he just doesn't have much push to pass left. Neither does Rosenqvist, as it goes to 0. So nothing left to defend with. Here comes Lundgaard.
Shaping him up, goes to the inside.
Out of line. Inside.
Had to do it there, had to get it done, and he executed. Rosie tried to fight it, but just gave him enough room. Heads up driving as both drivers exhausted. Their push to pass on that final attempt there.
This is like a video game when you're simply out of ammo at this point. Both guys, it's now hand-to-hand combat with 5 to go.
But man, again, great comeback drive from Christian Lundgaard. You hear that lift from Rosenqvist. He's having to save a little bit of fuel, not able to fight as much, and the McLaren team jacked. That's a nice way to thank your team after having to rebuild a brand new race car.
2 to go. Kirkwood leads below 4.4 seconds. This the battle ultimately for 5th place between Powell, McLaughlin, Herter, and that man there, Scott Dixon.
Dixon still has 15 seconds on hand as well, but time running out pretty quick. The question is, how hard does Herta try here to get himself into 6th? As the points run right now, Colton Herta sits 7th in the championship.
He'll only have a couple of opportunities before the Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag is waved here in Long Beach. What a thrilling afternoon we have had here in Southern California. Scott Dixon running 8th and trying to make the strategy work as it has done for Lundgaard.
And think about this, just behind Scott Dixon, that green, white, and black car, Stingray Robb. Look at the names that Stingray Robb is hanging on to. Easily, I think, the best drive of his IndyCar career. You've got multiple champions and race winners just ahead of you, and Kiffin Simpson on pace for his best ever career IndyCar finish. Good stuff from the young guns.
And I like that these two are that close and battling each other. There's a lot of pride on the line here. Two young drivers, both with a year of experience in the IndyCar Series, both on course for career best or matching best finishes. Good heart on board here from Stingray Robb. Shows the gap to those champions in front.
And I tell you, the pace that Stingray's running right now, if this race was 5 laps longer, you'd have a chance of finishing 8th, 7th, 6th, maybe even 5th. He's coming. He's a half a second, 3/4 of a second a lap faster than those guys.
1 lap to go. Look at the number of push-to-pass seconds that Kyle Kirkwood is going to take with him, although you can't take him anywhere.
Kyle Kirkwood told me in the lead up to this season how much he had worked on himself, on his body, on his mind over the winter. He was so unhappy not taking home a victory in 2024. He said that was the first thing that he wanted to correct this season. The second was consistency. He has had that for the opening 3 weekends, and here in Long Beach, he has been dominant and crushingly perfect. From pole position to the checkered flag, Kyle Kirkwood wins in Long Beach.
Come on, boys. Let's go! Oh, my gosh. Great job. Made a tragedy as always. Thank you guys so much.
Well, that was a perfect run from Kyle Kirkwood. Ultimately 2.6 seconds, the gap over Alex Palou over the line. But what a brilliant race from the 26-year-old Floridian to make good on that pole position, to make good on that promise, and to get his season kick-started the way that he needed it.
Kirkwood beat his team down to victory lane.
Yeah, he's that fast.
It's a great thing to see. I mean, drivers want to win any race in the IndyCar Series.
Oh my gosh.
But this one is special.
Kyle Kirkwood reaches for the sky to celebrate the win. And we can hear from him now.
And he's at least had one teammate down here to greet him. Kyle Kirkwood is getting used to victory lane at Long Beach. 2 of his 3 wins, all 3 on street courses. And Kyle, you've just beaten the driver that some started to wonder if he was beatable at all. How did you hold off Alex Palou after your last stop and you came out right in front of him on cold tires?
I tell you what, he didn't make it easy on us. I mean, hats off to Prefab Honda today. Hey.
Good job, brother.
Congratulations. Dude, huge one.
Fuck yeah.
Excuse his language. I mean, yeah, I mean, what a great day. We controlled the race from practice, right? I mean, we felt like we were in control. Really good qualifying, amazing race, amazing strategy. But it was just execution all across the board is what won us that race here today. Because if Palou was in front, he would have beat us for sure. This was a track position race here today without any yellows. And I mean, hats off to the Prefab Honda Andretti guys. Amazing job. And this is our coast-to-coast weekend with Andretti and TWG Motorsports. And to finish it off with a win, man, that is so cool, so cool. So hats off to the entire organization. They really deserve this one.
And you're second in the championship now. Is the 27 team coming?
Oh, we're trying. I said that before this weekend. This is where we turn it around, and you know, we're super happy with this win, but we're also upset that Palou finished second, right? Like, we need to start getting more of these. That's the only way to beat him. So we're gonna reflect on this one, soak in this win, and then straight into Barber, where hopefully we can do this all over again. But this is a good one. It's been a long time. I had a drought last year of no wins, and this is huge for me, huge for my morale, huge for the 27 crew, huge for Honda. 50th Grand Prix here at Long Beach, right? And to win it in a Honda, the Acura Grand Prix is huge.
And a 2-time winner here in the streets of Long Beach, and the team is here. Go celebrate. Kyle Kirkwood wins again.
Up next, it's the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, Sunday, May 4th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox.